counter Innovation's Jade Druid with what I believe is a big Druid, if the Earthen Scales is any indication.
Yeah, and still going to need to get that ramp, but obviously this deck is much more in tune with that. Far less so than the Big Priest. This deck's designed well, it's built together well, and actually does its thing a lot of the time. But Innovation, yet again, has got an okay starter.
And you know what? This deck also, from Muzzy, is meant to beat Priest. It's running Malagos, it's running Deathwing and Deathwing Dragonlord, it's running Primordial Drake. If you can just ramp up to turn 10 very quickly and start slamming powerful dragons, the Highlander Priest only has 1 copy of Shadow or Death, can't Dragonfire dragons down. You have a board that is essentially impossible for the Highlander Priest to beat. But Innovation can ramp at the same time, can ramp his Jades, and can match Muzzy's minions, again, with the power of his golems.
And a decent spot to get everything into that Ultimate Infestation early for the 2nd game in a row. But this time, Muzzy's going to be matching him on the mana. He's got his own ramp, and his top end is better than Innovation's top end. So Innovation's going to have to find a way to tempo this if he's going to get it done.
Yeah, it's going to have to be likely Ultimate Infestation into 6-drop Jade, 4-drop Jade on the turn after, or find a Coon somewhere in there and just really build up that big board, because, again, what Muzzy can't do is deal with large boards of big minions. He's got the Deathwing, but that's really the only panic button for this big Druid deck. There's no strong AoE against large golems from Innovation.
And right now, one thing that Muzzy is lacking is any card draw, apart from, as always, I highlight the Wrath is card draw, kind of.
It is.
But
sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not.
Because Innovation has pretty much everything. He's going to nourish here for the mana to get into that UI by the look of things.
I could also see going for Aya Blackpaw this turn and then Nourish next turn right into turn 10 for Ultimate Infestation. It wasn't completely necessary that Innovation did it this turn, but now he has opened up Aya plus something else for next turn. Unlikely that he'll need the swipe. There's just not anything that Muzzy's going to put down that will be a real threat before 8 mana, 9 mana.
Yeah, swipe is 4 damage to face later in the game.
Yeah.
That's all it is in this, almost certainly.
But that is one advantage that Muzzy has over Innovation. Muzzy's playing Earthen Scales, and Muzzy has a lot of minions with 12 attack.
Yeah, it's interesting. It means you can stabilize, but if you play a 12-12, you're quite often stabilized anyway.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's handy. You need it to get that killer blow out of the way, but if you are playing the Earthen Scales before you get your big stuff down, you're probably going to lose anyway.
All right, so Innovation doesn't pick up anything else to play alongside this Aya, but the Jades are already going to be at 5-5 once this Aya death rattles, so Innovation off to a very successful board advantage. And with Ultimate Infestation coming down on turn 10 to give even more Jade action in hand, Muzzy's got Deathwing, but he has no real other interaction that will be effective against big golems.
Innovation took a moment there and it decided to actually clear up. There's definitely a case there for just hitting face, getting that damage done.
You can afford to be a little bit aggressive. Lich King, all right. Some of those Death Knight cards can clear boards. Doom Pact, for instance. Death and Decay can help to soften up a board that you can maybe then get a clear on with a swipe.
Yeah, and that extra bit of removal so convenient. The reason Lich King doesn't get played in many decks, it definitely shows its face from time to time, is that inconsistency though. There's several whiffs there in those Death Knight cards as well.
Oh yeah, Army of the Dead. Actually
no.
Maybe not bad in this case.
You're right.
I mean, some that are less impactful, right? Death Coil deals 5 or heal 5.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good. Frostmourne against Jades, that's pretty good if you can afford to give up the life, with which Earthen Scales you can. So there's not actually a lot of negative drawback from this Lich King, but Muzzy may just feel like he needs to play a little bit of cleanup here.
Yeah, it seems that way. I assume we're going into a Primordial Drake with this play. It's the only time he's going to get anything out of this card in the entire game. It's not necessarily a great cleanup, but it's the best time this card's ever going to be used. He didn't fancy any of his other options.
Innovation finds an easy clear onto the Primordial Drake, pushes 5 and picks up 5 additional cards for reload. Not strong Jade options in hand, but with that Coon for a free 7/7, he will have a substantial board state still.
And a decent chance of drawing Jade Behemoth in his next pickup as well. He's got 2 of them in something like 12 cards, give or take.
Yeah.
If he picks that up, then Kun into Jade Behemoth, into Jade Spirit. Deal with that. Deathwing's about the only way.
Muzzy is just going to have to go with this Lich King, take the 9 armor while he can, picks up Army of the Dead. Okay, this could be huge. If he picks up Malagos off of this or Deathwing Dragonlord, you can get the Deathwing out of your hand for free once that dies. And Innovation's Jades are big, but they're not 10-10 big yet.
Jade Behemoth off the top.
You called it, Laurie.
The Lich King's providing a problem, though, but it's likely he just trades both in. Play Kun, play Jade Behemoth, play
Jade Spirit.
And hope they don't have Deathwing. That's a bit awkward. You know that one of those cards has been Muzzy's hand for a long time.
This is the ideal after Ultimate Infestation. 6 mana Jade, 4 mana Jade, which is just Behemoth plus Spirit, or if you have a Blossom and an Idol in your hand, something just to reload that board. You have the cards, now you need to play them. And Innovation will, of course, have to take out the Lich King. It is too high priority of a target to attempt to preserve your board state. You can, however, save one of those 5/5s with this swipe and just not play the Jade Spirit this turn. It's totally fine as well.
Yeah, another option was to keep out the Kun, so if there was a Deathwing, you could really reload like almost seamlessly straight afterwards. Just put down the Jades and then go Kun into a load of stuff. Because this way, you're going to get hurt.
Okay, so if this Army of the Dead pulls Malagos, swipe is suddenly a clear.
That seems really unfair.
That seems really fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Holy crap, Muzzy absolutely nails what he wants here. Yasharaj, Deathwing Dragonlord, and Malagos swipe, now dealing 6 damage to all and 9 to the Kun. That's a clear. Now we've got ourselves a series.
So, Cora, what would you queue up for game 3 if you were Innovation?
Ooh, you know.
Because game 2 is done. So.
Wow.
That game changed. Just a little bit. How is Muzzy not laughing? Because we are.
Because Muzzy's thinking, I knew it the whole time. I brought the deck, didn't I?
Yeah, why didn't I get all my minions? Why is there only 3 minions with my Army of the Dead?
All right, so the Jades are big, but the board is bigger.
But these 1/5s are going to stop everything.
They're going to block like 40 damage.
And then what?
And then Innovation's going to die. Wow, yeah.
Deathwing.
Genius.
Genius.
Uncontested 12-12.
So I'm trying to work out what
if Muzzy finds another
lose the game condition here is.
Spreading Plague Doomsayer with nothing to kill it.
Double Savage Roar.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm trying to find a way that...
Let's not get too crazy. Yeah, it would need to be some way to clear the board, which in Innovation's deck is only Plague Doomsayer, and even still, Muzzy has the Wrath, which can just kill the Doomsayer with the Malagos on board. So I think this one is just about done. There's not much you can do in the face of this much power.
I always find it amusing when Malagos is on the board, like just looking at the text on the cards, just the words, where all the numbers just change into silly numbers.
He's an insane card. Malagos has been played in Druid for so long.
Right.
Usually it's in an OTK style of Druid. Back when Aviana was legal, you would go Aviana, Kun, Malagos, crazy stuff. It was awesome. But we're still seeing him in these big Druid decks. It is so nostalgic for me. I love it. It's working out really well. This is what ideally Muzzy would have had happen from the early game. He faltered in the early game. He faltered going up until that last-ditch Lich King.
Okay.
And it came through for him.
I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking Innovation, the one thing he is getting here by letting this carry on...
It's information.
...is the Yasharaj is giving him information. It's not just a case of, oh, Muzzy might mess up. Muzzy would not give any information by choice. Muzzy's that sort of player. But he is actually getting information from the Yasharaj here, just as what exact the minion builder is, just in case there's anything in there that's a bit weird.
Exactly what he can expect for the next game, because Innovation is going to have the Paladin and the Priest. Paladin is just a Murloc Paladin. I don't actually recall exactly what his Priest is, but this Druid is meant to beat Highlander Priest, so I imagine he's going to be queuing Paladin next. Still trying to buy some time, trying to get some more information.
And he will. He'll get one more card. He'll see one more card, and if he can get to the point where all of Muzzy's minions are revealed, that's good information. That's a lot of... can then do calculations a lot better.
Yes, it is a slight advantage for the next game. Any percentage points that you can take, you absolutely want to take. So knowledge of exactly what the minion spread is in Muzzy's deck is quite valuable.
And with that in mind, we will see Muzzy play the opposite game and not play any cards that mean anything here. He's not going to just suddenly drop a minion on the board. He's going to make sure he doesn't die and just continue to keep his stuff in hand, because he will know exactly what Innovation's about here.
All right, so 2 Drakes, Bright-Eyed Scout, Alexstrasza, Malagos.
2 Drakes is worth knowing.
2 Drakes is worth knowing.
That's a thing that he has learned that is actually worth knowing going into future games.
This is a dragon-heavy build indeed, intending to target Priest, but taking out Innovation's Druid along the way. And Muzzy going to tie up this series 1-1.
I was just about to say it must be 2-1, but I wrote 1-1 in there about 9 turns ago. So it's 1-1.
Yeah, this one was decided a bit ago. And now how can Innovation attempt to counter this? If he brings out Paladin, he can just hit him hard, hit him fast, build up the board with all that Murloc synergy very quickly, and attempt to spiral the game out of Muzzy's control that way. I anticipate that is what Innovation will go for, because aggression against this style of Druid that needs to take all of those early turns to ramp and build up mana before they can bomb the board with those large minions seems like the way to win this game.
Yeah, if he does queue the Priest, let's assume it's Highlander Priest for now. You've got to run the